You know, I heard Mexico is nice this time of year. Tonight's review is on Sicario, which follows this agent played by Emily Blunt who gets recruited by the FBI to help find a Mexican drug cartel which killed off some members of her team. Along the way, she meets these two characters played by Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro, and whereas Blunt's character is the more idealistic type who does everything by the book, these two guys have got their own agenda in mind and they play things by their own rules. Emily Blunt's character is really the only one who you consistently root for in this movie, in that she's the only one that you want to see make it out alive at the end. Which isn't to say that she's some kind of damsel in distress or some helpless little treasure in here. Far from it. She's actually, in a way, the strongest character in the movie, in the fact that she's able to stick to her guns, whereas pretty much everyone around her has been corrupted and broken. At the same time, it doesn't feel like everyone else just gave in to peer pressure here. Every character has their own amount of layers to them, and in fact, I found Benicio del Toro's character to be the most interesting in the film. At the beginning, you're really not sure whether to trust him or not, but as the story progresses and you learn more about him and he goes down his own path, I found myself not exactly rooting for him, but not completely blaming him either. There are a lot of gray areas as far as the characters are concerned, but ultimately what it boils down to is that this takes place in a world where evil begets evil. Even though Sicario isn't a horror movie at all, I would still consider this to be one of the scariest and most violent films of 2015. And if you are easily squeamish, this might not be your cup of tea because it does contain some pretty gruesome imagery as well. Also, it feels like the marketing team behind this movie tried to make it look like it was going to be some kind of big action film, but really, that's not what it is. Even though there are some gunfights in this movie and there are a couple of explosions, I would say that in terms of the action to story ratio, it's about the polar opposite of Mad Max Fury Road. In the end, I would say Sicario is a pretty solid crime thriller. It is very violent and gruesome at times, and it can be a very slow burner at times, but as long as you can get past that, then it does come recommended. And that's all I've got to say about this movie. I hope y'all have a good one.
My hate will never die. I keep my rage.